Ashes of Creation is an upcoming MMO that I think has the potential to be the next great game. Not just MMO. There are 4 main reasons why I think that is. Number 1, the many systems in the game. Number 2, the risk versus reward concepts. Number 3, the player interaction and player agency. And number 4, the development process of the actual game. First, let's delve into the many systems that Ashes of Creation has. Ashes of Creation is going to be a sandbox MMO, meaning that the world is going to be in a constant state of change. This is going to be because of the game's main system, nodes. No, not nudes, nodes. I already made a whole video about nodes, so if you want a more in-depth look into that, I'll leave a link to that video down in the description. Anyways, I'll do a quick recap of what nodes are and how they work. Nodes are points of interest dotted all over the world of Vero. These nodes start building up when players gain XP within the area of influence. There are multiple stages of this, starting out with a little tiny camp, growing eventually into massive cities. And every stage unlocks new content around the area, such as a new dungeon opening up. But here's where the player agency kicks in. Nodes cannot grow to the max stage with other highly developed nodes around it. So that's where the players can come in and decide if they want to siege and take down the other nodes to make their node grow bigger. Also in this node system is a government system. Once a node reaches stage 3 or higher, citizens can apply to be the literal mayor of the town. The mayor has a lot of power, such as, you guessed it, raising the taxes. There's a whole lot more to that system, but that's all I'm going to say for this video. The other systems include caravans, where you can haul a bulk amount of goods across the nodes. However, other players can either help escort you, or they can raid your caravan of its goods. Then there's animal husbandry, where you can breed mounts with each other to create various hybrid mounts. I honestly think this is going to be a big one for the mount collectors out there. And of course, there are many PvP systems within the game. This includes node sieges, guild castle sieges, arenas, and open world PvP. However, open world PvP comes with yet another system in the corruption mechanic. That's right, you can't just kill innocent bystanders without any consequences. If the people you try to kill don't fight back, you will become corrupt and you will start to get weaker, along with the chance of dropping some of your character's gear. Also, there might be a bounty hunter system in the game where you can get gold from, hunting down these corrupted players. Another interesting thing in the game is their monster coin system. I don't know too much about the system because they haven't really showed it off yet. But basically, it's where you turn into a monster, like, a little goblin, and then you can raid other people's towns and stuff. I think it'll be amazing. Are you getting hyped yet? Because I am. Along with these unique systems are a lot of the staple MMO systems. There are dungeons. Most of the dungeons are going to be open world, by the way. Many artisan related things, which I'm going to dive deeper into later in the video. Raids, world bosses, housing, shipbuilding, and oh yeah, a character system which includes 8 base classes, and then at level 25, you pick another one of those 8 classes for a combination of 64 total possible classes.
No, we don't know that. The smoke is coming through an air down. Oh my god, okay, it's happening. What's the con? What's everyone? No.
This secondary class system won't bring about whole new abilities, but it'll rather change how your existing abilities work. An example of this would be if you picked the fighter archetype and then at level 25 you decided to become a spell sword, which is the fighter mage class, you would be able to augment a fighter charge ability that usually just does a base physical damage into a fiery charge that does a fiery damage over time effect on the hit instead. So yeah, the class potential is quite literally unfathomable. You could be a bard tank, a ranger rogue, a summoner cleric. The list goes on and on. Real quick, to show some of the progress on these classes, I'll play some clips of some of the new ranger abilities.
Yeah, Trad helped with this. He added this into the skill tree.
Let's take a look at this.
It might not seem like a lot per arrow, but it fires a lot of arrows. We call it simultaneous casting, and yeah, that allows you to cast your marks at the same time as other abilities.
Very cool. So if I have to hold the charge to completion to get the additional damage value, essentially.
I mean, these are some of the best abilities I've ever seen in an MMO, and it's not even Alpha 2 yet. Look at this airstrike ability. You have complete control over your character while doing this. I think this might be the best ability I've seen in an MMO, period. It's absolutely insane. Oh, and Ashes of Creation might have the best character creator that I've ever seen in any video game. This is the pre-alpha 2 version of the character creator, and they literally made Asmongold. Speaking of creating characters, there are 9 total races to choose from thus far, ranging from humans to dwarves to elves to orcs to these demon-looking dudes. I might want to be a demon in this game. So yeah, the main reason I think this game is going to be the next big thing is because of all these systems. It's like they put the best system from every MMO and put it into one big game, plus more. Moving on to our next topic, I'm going to be talking about risk versus reward. Many of those systems I just talked about includes a lot of risk versus reward concepts. You want to sell your goods to another node for the big buku bucks? Well, you run the risk of getting your caravan raided by a bunch of thieves. Did your group want to delve into one of the open world dungeons to grind XP or to kill a boss for that sweet, sweet loot? Well, maybe there's a group of players there already. But we spent all this time getting our food buffs and delving through this dungeon to get here. What do we do now? Well, I say you and your group risk it for the biscuit, take on these players for all the spoils that come with the spot. You might die and waste your time, or you might win big and you could celebrate this victory later on at the inn with your boys. Point is, I feel like the risk versus reward in MMOs have been a lesser focus, and I hate that, because it makes the time you spend on the game more meaningful, and it keeps you on your toes a lot of the time. Unlike MMOs nowadays, where if you die, it really isn't that big of a deal. Also, have you ever wanted to kill a player? In game, of course, in game, for doing you wrong? Well, you can do just that, but it will come with a huge risk of becoming corrupt and dying. You will then get XP debt and can lose a lot of your goodies, including the armor and weapons your character is holding. However, if you can defeat your enemy and go to a little hideout for a little bit, it might be worth it. There are many other risk versus reward scenarios that I could talk about, but for now, let's move on to our next topic. Player interaction and player agency. You know what the 2 M's in MMO stand for, right? Massive multiplayer. In Ashes of Creation, you will need to rely on other players, which is a good thing. Gaming with friends is the best way to game. Simple as that. In this MMO, you will need to rely on other players in a various amount of ways, such as the artisan system. Here is a list of all the artisan skills, from gathering to processing to crafting. Players can only be a grandmaster of 2 of these categories, meaning that you will have to work together with multiple players in order to craft the items you need. Also, there isn't going to be a looking for group system, so communicating with other players is a must. Another big thing I'm gonna like about Ashes is gonna be the sense of community that's built into the game with the guild and node systems. Hundreds of players will need to work together to grow nodes, and you will have the choice to either make alliance with nearby towns, or you can go to war to destroy other nodes to further grow your own. This goes both ways. I can see this MMO being a really, really good game to make online friends with, or in-game enemies. Oh, how I can't wait for the chaos that will ensue. The final reason why I have a lot of belief in Ashes of Creation is how the game is being developed. The game's creative director, Steven Shreve, is basically funding the MMO himself. There will be no big publishers rushing the release of the game, no pay-to-win mechanics, and the game is an open development. They literally stream monthly dev updates on Twitch, showing the community the progression of the MMO. To my knowledge, this has been rarely done, but I really like it because it makes it really easy for them to take in community feedback. Ashes of Creation is also going to be made using Unreal Engine 5. And if you've been actually watching this video, you'll see how unreal some of the graphics in this MMO are. I've personally never ever been as hyped for a video game release as this one. And for better or worse, I can really see my life getting sucked into this MMO. Anyways, I know this video barely scratches the surface of what Ashes of Creation plans to become, so if you want more videos explaining certain topics, let me know down in the comments. They just recently revealed that the Alpha 2 is coming out on the 3rd quarter of 2024, so in little over half a year we will finally be able to get ourselves immersed into this amazing game. And I can't freaking wait! Speaking of the Alpha 2, I want to make my own guild. So if any of you have an Alpha 2 key or want to join a guild when the game launches, I invite you to join my Discord. Links down in the description. Anyways, if you want to see more MMO and RPG content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for your boy. But until then, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
No!